Good morning, my friends. In Matthew chapter 6, Jesus says this. He says, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat, what you will drink. Don't worry about your body, what you will wear. And then he says this, look at the birds of the air. He says they neither sow nor reap nor store away in barns. And then he says, but your heavenly Father, he feeds them. And then he asks, are you not of much more value than they? Then he says this, can any of you by worrying add a single hour to your life? Can any of you by worrying add a single hour to your life? We've been worrying. We've been filled with anxiety. We've been filled with fear. We've been filled with moments of depression. And I want to first say to you that if you have been filled with anxiety and depression and anger and fear, and if that's become overwhelming to you, I want to first encourage you that if you can, reach out to some medical professionals. There is telehealth available. There are many people in a variety of different ways who can help you in a very real and in a very tangible way. I also want to ask you and encourage you to reach out to your pastor. Your pastor is available to listen and to pray and to talk through some of those moments of worry and fear and anger and depression and anxiety. Your pastor's available too. I wore this morning my one of my favorite ball caps. It's Pioneer seed corn hat. My father-in-law doesn't plant a lot of Pioneer anymore, but a couple of years ago he gave this hat to me, and I really like it. One, because I get to kind of pretend that I'm a farmer. I'm not a farmer, but I get to pretend to. But the other thing that, when I wear it, I kind of walk around like, yeah, I know what's going on. And hats, sometimes they do that. And I want to encourage you today on Thursday. You're working from home. If you're able, wear a hat. And if you're worrying, if you put a hat on, remind yourself that God has got you. If God has got the lilies of the field and God has got the birds of the air, God has got you too. And that as you put a hat on, that it might crown you, that it might adorn you, it might remind you of God's love for you, and that God has got you. That by God's grace and by God's love, God holds you. God cares for you. And God longs for you in the midst of worry and fear and anxiety and anger, that God has got a hold of you. And God simply will not let you go. It's Thursday, April 2nd, 2020. My friends, be very well. Be kind to one another. If you can, put a hat on today and remind yourself that God crowns you, that God has got you, that God holds fast to you. And if you would, I'd love it. Send me a picture too of you wearing a cap today. And remind yourself that God crowns you, that God holds you. Be very well. Be very, very well. And have a great and God-blessed day.